Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. In this video I'm going to go ahead and do assignment 2. Now this could take a little while, it usually takes some time to mimic a website, but I didn't want to do any of it first because I want you guys to see the process that I go through to do it and how I get each aspect of it. So let's navigate here. I already had it open. So this right here is the website that we're going to copy. Mine might look a little different. I have an ad blocker on and it's managing block everything but Peacock, it looks like. But we're not going to have very many ads anyways. I'm not going to have you guys include anything on the right hand side. We're going to start off by making this nav bar, then having this advertisement section. We are going to make both these sections here, but we're just going to get good practice, getting all this worked out. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. It says to download the starting zip folder. Here it is. Okay, so it already extracted it for me. Let me go ahead, open up VS Code, and I'm just going to drag this assignment folder into lesson 2. Okay, so if I look at my images, it looks like I have 4 helper images. I have the Healthline logo, our Peacock ad, some icons at the bottom, and the author image. Okay, I have an empty CSS file and an empty HTML file. Let's go ahead and change that. So exclamation mark tab. Body mass index overview. I can't see that whole thing, so I'll just say body mass index overview. Okay, if I wanted to see this, I could right click and hit inspect. And I want to go up to the head of the document and find the title. There's a lot of stuff in here. Holy cow. Let's see here. Title. I did not see a title in any of that, but it would be really easy to miss, and it might not even have a title tag. It might be using something else to put that there. Well, I'm going to search. I'm going to Control F and search for title. Oh, it's right there. Should have just searched for it in the first place. So I'll just copy that. Come back over to VS Code, and I'll just paste it. Sweet. And then I'm going to open this up with Live Server so we can see this working as we do it. Okay, sweet. So we're off to a great start. It looks really similar. We don't have this H icon. I'm not going to worry about that for this video, I don't think. Okay. But let's go ahead and worry about the nav bar. I'm going to put this back where it was. And actually, I want to see this in desktop view, so I'm just going to remove this. Okay, so I can still have my developer tools open here. We are going to use them quite a bit, but I want to see what this looks like. Okay, so for example, like one thing that I want to do with my dev tools, I want to click on this guy just to see how tall this is. Okay, so I can click on that. It says it's 70 pixels tall. Okay, so that makes it really easy. So I can just come into here. And I'm noticing that the width of our header is the same width as the body. And so I'm going to make a div for that. And I'll call this class page width. And then in there, I'll have a div. I'll give it a class called Nav Bar. And then I'll have another div called top ad. Oh, that's 1D, like advertisement. And then I'll have another div called page content, and then in there we're going to have 2 divs. We're going to have primary content and right content. Okay, that should be all I need for now. Let's go ahead and link our assignment2.css file. So I'll say link CSS, and it's called assignment 2. And then in here, I'm just going to split this. So I'm going to right click on here and say split right. So I want to see both these open at the same time. I'll close this other one. Okay. And then in here, let's start off with page width. So page width is the class. And we should be able to see again, with our developer tools, oh, that's not what I want, what our width is. So using this, I'm just going to click over here. Well, let's see. So that says it's 750 pixels wide. This whole thing is 1100. Okay, so sweet. And I'm seeing that just right here up by this little tooltip. It won't let me hover over it, but just right above here it shows those dimensions. Okay, so 1100 pixels. Okay, so we'll say width is 1100 pixels. Whoops. 1100 pixels. Okay. And then that should be all I need for that class. We'll go ahead and make a nav bar class. And then in here, we're going to say height is 70 pixels. And then we know that this is a sticky nav bar. It's staying there. Okay. And so I'm just going to say CSS keep nav bar at top. W3 Schools, learn how to create a fixed menu with CSS. Try it yourself. Let's see if this is what we want. We scroll and it stays at the top. That's exactly what we want. Okay, and it says top 0 position fixed with 100%. Okay, that all sounds great. Actually, let's just get all of that. Okay, the overflow hidden means it'll work with that scroll bar. Background color, we're going to have to change that to our black that we're going to do. So height, hidden, okay. In here, let's go ahead. I'm going to use this color pick eyedropper extension that we've used before. Oh, it's doing funky stuff because of my developer tools that are open. So let me click that. So that's not selected. And then I'll click on our extension and just find this color. And it looks like it is straight up black. Okay, that's nice and easy. So we'll say background color 123, 123. That's black for us. Or you could just say black. All right, well, let's look at our website. Let's see how it's looking so far. Not looking good. Okay, let's hit inspect. We don't have any errors in the console, that's good. And if we look at our body, wow, we don't really have anything there. So this is lesson 2, assignment, index.html. Oh, we didn't save it. There we go. Okay. My browser's putting this thing a little bit to the right. That's interesting. So the body says it's 1904. But then the nav bar is to the right a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at our classes, try to see why it's doing that. We don't want that space there. Width 100%. Let's just put margin left, which would regularly push it right, but I'm going to say negative 20 pixels. Okay, so now we have the space on the right. Let's try negative 10 pixels just to see what that looks like. We're close. Let's try negative 7 pixels. Oh boy, there's like a tiny line right there. And 8 looks like it landed us there. So that's really interesting. I'm not sure why it's doing that. We can test that in another browser later, but for now, I'm just going to test it right here. And that's looking exactly how I want it to look. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and make this. Okay, so I want to see, let's see, we're not going to worry about any of the drop down stuff. We just want to make it kind of look the same. So we do have an image here. Let's use that image. So we have our nav bar. And so if I put an image right here, let's just see what this looks like. /images, and I think it's image 1. Yeah, image 1. Okay, so we'll say image 1, and I'll just save that, and let's see what that looks like with that image there. Okay, so we have a little bit of work to do. Yeah, so let's fix that. So come on over here. So we have our page width right there. I wonder what would happen if we took that page width, or that nav bar width out of there. No, interesting. Okay. Oh, we forgot our margin. So we'll say margin is going to be 0 on top and bottom, and then auto left and right. Okay. Huh. Well, that's okay. We're going to ignore page width for now. So I'm just going to comment this out by holding Command / or Control /. And we'll leave that width 100% right there. Oh, it looks like it didn't want to update for us. Interesting. Okay, let's put those back. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. And then in the nav bar, we'll go ahead and set that width here. Okay, we'll go ahead and just set this within, actually, let's make a separate div. Okay, because the nav bar has the background that we want. And so I'm going to say class nav width. Okay, and so then right under here, I can just say nav width is going to be, and then we can say width is 1100 pixels, and we'll put some margin there so that should center it for us. Let's move this image up into that div, delete that line, and let's save everything. And there we go. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. Okay, that's awesome. We just have to move that image down so it's centered. So let's go ahead and Google that. We'll say HTML center image vertically. How to center an element vertically, that should work for us. Height 200 pixels, position relative, that's the container. And then this one uses translate. So top 50%, that would regularly mean that the top of the element would be halfway down the page, but this translate will move it up to the middle of that element so it looks centered. So let's go ahead and do that on that image. So inside of nav width, I'll say dot nav width, and then I'll use this arrow image. Okay, so any image that's in here, I want to have centered. Okay, so we'll say position absolute, top 50. We'll have to put position relative in here, and let's see what that looks like. Didn't quite work out for us. It did move it. Let's see what happens if we take out this transform stuff. Okay. The one nice thing is we know exactly how tall this nav bar is. It's 70 pixels tall, and so I could just say like top 20 pixels, and like that looks pretty good to me. We could check the height of this right here. I could hit inspect, and I could see its height. Looks like it's 28 pixels tall. Okay, and so, and this whole thing is 70. So we have 28, 70 minus 28 would land us at 42. And so really we'd want that to be 21 pixels on the top and the bottom. And now it'd be nice and centered. Okay, and it looks almost exactly the same as this other website. Okay, sweet. All right, let's go ahead and add our health conditions, discover, plan, and connect buttons. Okay, so that was our image. Now that I think about it, we're actually going to need this for our paragraphs too, or whatever we decide to do. So I'm going to put comma and a span. So we can put these as spans for now. And so in here, let's go ahead and try. I'll make a span, and I'll say health conditions. And then we need this caret character. I wonder if we could just copy that. I'm going to hit inspect. It's a button that they used. Health conditions. Okay, well, let's Google it. Caret character. Okay, that's not the one that we want. Down caret character. Just see if we can copy this. How do you type a caret down? I just want to see if we can copy one. Oh, we can probably copy that. Let's see how that looks. So I'm going to come over here and put health conditions. Might not look exactly the same. Oh, the font's black. Okay, so with this span, I'll just say, let's just add a color right here. And the color for now we'll just say is white. Okay, so it does look like it's a little bit too big. Oh, it's just 2 slashes that they did. That's funny. So we could change the height of those. I thought there would be a nice Unicode character that we could use, but I'm not seeing one. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's not quite what I want either. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead for now. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and just leave these off for now because we're not going to have a drop down anyway. So we'll just leave those off. I am going to right click on this and hit inspect though, just because I want to see the style on it. Let's see here. Line height is 26. Font family, I want to copy this. I want to copy actually all of these. Okay, so I'll copy those. Come over here. This will be our span. So this will be just for the span. So I'm going to say nav width span. We'll paste those. And I can delete this one and cancel. I'll hit save. Okay, and let's see what it looks like now. Okay, right over our thing. So let's go ahead and fix that now. Let's see. It'd probably be, let's go ahead and change this to a div. I think that'll help. Okay, let's see what that looks like. No, that did not help. Let's go ahead and change that back. And put that back. Okay, well I want to add some style to this first one, so I can say nav width, the span. We should be able to say first child. Let's see if this works. And I'll just say margin left 100 pixels. I wonder why I didn't like that. Identifier expected. It's not liking any of that. I'm going to right click on this. I'll hit inspect. Here's our health conditions. In here, I can just kind of play around with it a little bit. I'm going to add a style and say margin left 100 pixels. We can just see what that looks like. Okay, so let's try 200 pixels. Okay, and that looks a little bit better. Let's look at what this one looks like. So theirs doesn't look quite as bold as ours does. That's interesting. Okay, but that's okay. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Let's try this. Instead of saying that span, let's use the nth child, and this will be the second child. Okay, and we'll say margin left is 200. Okay, because the first child of that is going to be the image, and the second child is span. And it looked like that worked for us. Let's try 300. No, it did not work for us. Interesting. Oh, well, that's a typo. Well, that's okay. We can just give this a class. We'll say class first kiddo. And then right here we'll just say first kiddo. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why it's not doing it for us. We saw it do it over there. So let me right click on this again. I'll hit inspect. I put a style on here. Margin left 300 pixels. Oops, that didn't save. I didn't close it. Okay, so that works. So for now, I'll just go ahead and put that style on here. For whatever reason, the class doesn't want to work, so I'll just put style, margin left, 200 pixels. Okay, and then I'll just take this one off. Okay. One thing that I am noticing, this font size is 18 pixels, but our image was 28, so this isn't really centered anymore. And so what I want to do is with the spans, I want to say margin top, and we'll add like another 5 pixels onto there. And now it's centered with that. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and try to add our next button. We'll go ahead and leave that one the way that it is. So if we save that, health conditions will show up in the exact same place. Okay. Just out of curiosity, let's see what would happen if we put this as a button. Okay, that's where it would show up. And then if I move this margin left, where would it show up? Over there. Okay. We're going to leave it as spans for now, just because of time. Okay, so we'll say margin left is, and we'll leave that as a span. So we have 200. And then we'll go ahead and move this over, let's say like 350. We have health conditions, discover. Okay, we'll save that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we just need a little bit more space there. Let's go ahead and bump that up to 500. Okay, that looks okay. Just needs to go back a little bit. Let's say 4. Okay. Let's go ahead and make another one. This one is going to be plan, and then we need connect. So we'll say plan, and whoops, and connect. And let's just bump these up 200 each, and let's just see where that lands us. Okay, looks okay. I think we can make those a little bit smaller. So we'll say 550. Whoops. And 700 there. Okay. And that looks pretty decent. Okay. They're not quite centered. Okay, I'd have to drop this down a little bit more, maybe like 670, just because plan's a short word. Okay, and if we were doing this with buttons, it would work out better. For now, though, I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. Let's see here. So I just Googled CSS Nav Bar, and I think what we're gonna do, I don't like how difficult it's being to center these and make these look nice. So we're gonna go ahead and change these to A tags. Okay, and I'll hit save. And then let's look at this. Okay, and I'm gonna put all this in here. Okay, so we have our nav width. Oh, whoops. We'll post all that. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I have health conditions, plans way down there. Okay. Let's see here. Has some fonts. Drop down content. We don't have a drop down. So let's just look at this and see how things ended up where they are. Okay, so there's our first one. There's our second one. It's because of the margin left. See how that margin left is like ruining everything? Okay, so let's take all that out. Oops. I'm just gonna hit Command D and delete all this. Okay. All right, that's looking quite a bit better. This first one though, let's add the style on that one. We'll say margin left. I think it was 200 pixels. Okay, and that moved all of them over nicely. Okay, and then this A, we do need some of this stuff. So let's put in the font family. We're gonna leave the bold out because ours looked more bold than theirs. It's still white. Cursor's pointer, so let's copy that. And margin top we'll still need. Okay, and that's looking quite a bit better. say 10. Boom, look at that, that's awesome. Okay, let's actually make that 12. There, that looks great. Okay, so we'll leave that the way it is. Let's go down the line here. We have subscribe and this little icon on the right hand side. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make, let's make another div. And we'll say class is nav right. And then in here we'll have an A tag that says subscribe. All right, and then another thing that says search. Okay, let's make a nav right. So say nav width, nav right, and let's just try saying float right, and let's see if that works for us. Okay, it didn't, because all of this is right there. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a comma here and say nav width, nav right, A. Okay, that still didn't work for us. Just out of curiosity, if I put all of this right here, whoops, if I just said right there, yeah, so it's still not showing up. That's interesting. I wonder where it actually ended up. Oh my heavens, it's not even saved. Our index.html file isn't saved. Okay, I'll save that, and I'll save that. There it goes. So this did work for us. Okay, so we're applying these styles to both of these places. Okay, so sweet. And then instead of that search, we just need that magnifying glass icon. I'll be sure to include that in a screenshot in that zip folder. Okay, I can't take a screenshot right now though because I'm recording, so we'll just leave it as search for now. Okay, well that's probably the hardest part, you guys. So let's go ahead and look at this. 120 pixels tall, I'm seeing right there. So let's make another div. Oh, we already have one. Top add. Okay, so let's do that. We'll say top add, height 120, and background color. Let's use our color picker again. I'll just copy that and paste. Okay, let's come back over here. That's looking really similar to the last one. Okay, we'll leave that the way it is. Let's go ahead and put our image in there though. Let's see which image it's image. Okay, so image number 2 is what it's gonna be. And so I'll just say image, source, images, and number 2. And let's see how that looks. Huh, it's not showing up for us. Whoops, cancel that. Let me refresh this page. Yeah, nothing changed. Weird, and I didn't see this change either. Let's say like blue for a sec. Okay, so where's our div? So there's our nav width. We have top add, which is nowhere to be found. Okay, well, let's change that. Well, actually, I'll leave that blue for now. I will say though, we'll say top is 200 pixels. That should force it down the page 200 pixels. Let's type in some text in here as well, just to see if we can find that text on the page. Jeez. Okay, so why isn't it showing up here? Oh, page content. I'm inside of page width, nav bar, top add. It should be just fine. Let's copy that a few times. Yeah, so let me inspect this. Yeah, top add is like vanished. That's crazy. There's the styles for it. Let's try adding like important. Whoops. Oops. Okay, we'll save that. Still not showing up. Weird. Okay, is there something in page width that would prevent that? No, it's still not showing up. Okay, well let's try another one here. I just like put in some content in these. Wow, it's not showing up anywhere. Weird. Okay. So let's just take out this nav bar for a sec. Okay, so top add still isn't there. Maybe that's just in the wrong place. Say 0. Okay, so I just realized that if I comment out this div, the top add div, then everything shows up. Okay, so I don't really know why that is. Let me save that and we'll just see what that looks like. Okay, so there's our image. So if I just make a new div and I'll put test in there. So I think test did show up. So I'm gonna put a new class on here. I'll say class below nav add. Below nav add. And then I'll say top is going to be 70 pixels. Actually, I'll say margin top is 70 pixels. Height is 120 pixels. I did 70 pixels because that's the height of the heading of the nav bar. Okay, and then let's put that in here. Take out test. Okay, so that's good. The only thing we really have to do, we just have to put this image in the center, and it looks like there's a little bit of space right here. Let me just right click on this and inspect. Maybe we can see something that'll help us. So I'm gonna use this to click on here. Oh, it's not letting me click on the, looks like this whole thing is made using JavaScript. So we'll just eyeball it. We'll say 20 pixels to start. So I'm gonna do a below nav add image. I'm gonna do margin top 20 pixels. All right, we'll save that. We'll come back over here to ours. Okay, 20 pixels looks like it was a little bit too much. Okay, let's try 15. And let's also say, so that's for the top, and then we'll say auto. 0 auto. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Oh, it was because it was. We got to take that top off. There. Okay, so that still didn't work. So let's put that top back, and then this time we'll just say margin left. What happens if we just say 25%? Okay, what if we say 50%, and then we put this transform stuff in there? Okay, let's save that, see what that looks like first. Uncomment that. So we want to translate X. Huh. So yeah, it didn't really do much for us. Not that we, at least not that we wanted to. Oh, that looks kind of centered. Not quite. Nope. Okay, let's take that out. And instead, what we can do, I'll just right click on this and hit inspect. Because we know the width of this. So the width is 728 pixels. And we also know the width of our page width. We set our page width at 1100. Okay, so we'll just do 1100 minus 728. Minus 728 divided by 2, and that 186 is going to be our margin left. Okay, so down here, margin left. I don't think this is going to work. Let's try it though. Yeah. Okay, let's try 372. Save that. Yeah, that's Still not centered. Oh, it's because it's coming from all the way over there. Instead of being inside of our page width. So let's set the width here to 1100 pixels. And then margin, we'll say 70 pixels. And then auto, and 0 and auto. Okay. And that still didn't change anything here. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess then instead, let's just Google center CSS image. How to center an image. That looks centered. Margin left auto, margin right auto with 50%. Display block. Maybe that's what we're missing. Let's try that. Whoops. Okay. That didn't help us. I wonder if we change this to padding, and we did say 50% right here. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay. Margin top, I don't know why that shrunk. But we need to add another 15 pixels again. Oh, we lost it, probably because of this display block. It's okay, I don't think we need it. Okay. I would usually measure both sides of this. Right now, though, I'm not going to worry about it. Looks like it is just a little bit further to the left than theirs is. Let's take that out. That did not help at all. Okay. Padding left, and then let's add just a little bit of margin. We'll say margin left 50 pixels. And we'll see how this looks. Okay, we'll do 40 pixels. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, all right. So let's go down and let's start working on the rest of the stuff. Okay. So I'm going to right click on here, hit inspect, just because I want to see how wide this is. So let's see here. I'll use my pointer. 750 out of that 1100. Okay, so this is our primary content. Okay, so right here I'll just say primary content width 750 pixels. And then we have our right content. So 1100 minus 750 would be 350. So we'll say width is 350 pixels. Okay. Let's put both of these. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. So let's start adding some stuff. It looks like we have an H1. I'm going to right click on this. So H1, so this is what we'll need, both of these, for our H1s. So in here I'll just say dot H1. Actually I want all of our H1s will look the same. And then in here, let's go ahead and put an H1 right here. Whoops. H1, and we'll say body mass index and save it. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, that does not look like theirs. It probably couldn't find their font. Yeah, so it's probably using sans serif for us. Okay. We're gonna leave it for now, just because of time. Let's look at this one. This one is an H2. Okay, so we'll make an H2 right here. And that H2 says, what is body mass index? Okay, and then I'm just gonna copy these. These are just straight up paragraphs. and I'm going to paste them and delete the empty space between them. Tab these over, make a cursor on each one of these, and wrap them in a paragraph. Okay, so there's ours. Okay, so currently our stuff isn't quite where we want it, and our font isn't the way that we want it either. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this page content. Let me see if I can find that down here. Well, it's not even here. Well, that would do it. So we'll say page content, and then we'll just say width is 1100 pixels, and margin 0 auto. Let's see if that fixes it. Nope. Okay, I just changed this margin instead of being auto to 400 pixels, and now that's lining up just about where we want it to. We'll go ahead and say like 410 or 405. Okay, so that's where we want it to be. Primary content is showing up right in there. I do need to change our style for all of our text. And so what I can do is I'm just going to click on that and apply this to all paragraphs. I'll save that, and let's see what that looks like now. Okay, it looks a little bit closer. Let's inspect this one more time, because we also have a font that we have to worry about as well. Let's see where their font is. Right there. So this is for their whole HTML. So we'll copy all that. So we'll copy all of that, and we'll put this HTML up at the top. Okay, and let's see how that looks. Okay, that's looking better. Okay. All right, we'll keep on going. I know that I don't have their fonts, but we're gonna keep on going. Let's go ahead and try to get this over here. I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna need an image and this text right next to each other. What I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna do a table to do that. So we have a row and then a column and then another column. We'll have that there, and then we'll have an image here, which I think is it 3? Let's see what that looks like. Nope, that's not what we want. Okay, it must be 4. Okay, and then right content isn't showing up in the right place. It showed up down below. Okay, I'm gonna say float right. See what that looks like. Hey, that's a little bit closer. Okay, except I forgot to save my HTML file. There we go. Okay, for this width, so I'm gonna say class. Actually, let's style this how we would a table. So I'm gonna say class author table, and then in here I'll say author table, and then what we want to do is inside the TRs, inside the TD, and child second TD, we'll do the second child of that. What we want to do is we'll just say padding, let's say 10 pixels. Okay, let's see what that looks like for us. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let's see why it's all the way down here though. That right content is showing up beneath the other one. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. Let's put a display block in here. See if that helps. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so now all we have to add is just that this dark little underline. Let's see what they used for that. Wow, they just did a div. Okay. Looks like it's 300 by... Oh, that whole thing's a div. Probably with a border bottom. There it is. Okay. So, let's see. Let's make this into a div. Actually, since we have the table there, we might be able to just... Well, let's make a div. And we'll say class is author div. We'll move this table into there. Delete that. And then in here, for the author div, say border bottom. And then we'll also need a height on there. I think it said it was 300 pixels tall. 300 pixels. Now let's see what that looks like. Okay, let's save that one too. All right, so that's a little bit further down than we want. Maybe we don't need that to be 300 pixels. Let's say what would happen if we just took that out altogether. It's pretty close. Okay, let's just add, instead of height, we'll just add like padding, bottom 20 pixels. Hopefully just to make a little space right there. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so we're good there. Let's keep going. So this looks like another H2. Here's our page content, primary content, H2, whoops, paste. Okay, 4 more paragraphs. We'll grab those links in a bit. I'll paste those, and I'll delete these. Oops. Move those to the end of the lines. Okay, here's where we're at. Let's go ahead and make some links. So child and teen BMI calculator. Child and teen BMI calculator. We'll make a link right there. Move this to there. And for now, we're going to ignore links. Okay, they're easy enough to put in, but we're going to ignore them. And adult BMI calculator. Okay, so right here. Whoops. Paste that right there. Okay. All right, let's look at ours. Some nice ugly links there. Let's go ahead and fix our links. So I'm just going to say for every single A tag. Actually, we'll do every single A tag inside of the body, because we also have A tags inside of the nav bar. Okay, so we'll say A. So every A inside of there, we'll say the color is going to be something. Let's go ahead and find what that color is going to be. Go. And so I'll just paste that with the number sign. And then to change the hover on there, I'm just going to copy this, but I'll say a hover. And we want that color. I'm just going to right click on this, hit inspect, to be able to get our hover color for us. Somewhere in there we'll have this pink one. I actually don't see it, but I'll copy this just to make sure that we had the right one. I don't think we did. That's where I want it. Okay, and then hover. Oh, I wonder if it'll let us hover over this. It won't. Interesting. It's probably the same color as that. We'll just use that color. Okay, we'll copy that and paste it. Okay, now if we look over here, that should fix our links. Oops, not that one. Oh, it didn't. Bummer. Well, we can go ahead and just give them a class. What would happen if I just took this out? Hit save. Yeah, there we go. That looks really good. We should take the underline off of there. So we'll say font style normal. Pretty sure that's what it is. Nope. Let's Google it. How to remove underline from a tag. Text decoration. None. Okay, whoops. Keep on doing that. There we go. That's looking awesome. Okay, let's keep going. All right, where'd we end up? Right there. Okay, next one. Body mass index for adults. That looks like another H2. We'll paste that. Okay, we have a paragraph and then a table. TR, TD. Okay, so let's look what we have. So for row, we'll have BMI and weight status. So let's have a T head, and in there, let's actually look up an HTML table real quick. Dive through schools. Okay, TR and TH, that's what it is. Okay. So right here we'll do TH. And it was BMI. And weight status. Okay. And then we'll have a couple more rows. Each row will have 2 more of these, and I think I saw 3 more rows. 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows. 4. Okay, so I'm just going to copy these and bring these in here. Next one. $30 and above. Okay, this one said underweight and normal and overweight and obese. Okay, let's see what our table looks like. Okay, looks pretty good. It actually looks almost identical. So yeah, it even looks bad with the 30 and above being right next to obese. It's perfect. It's exactly what we want. Okay, next one, body mass index for children. Okay, so outside my table, I'll do another H2 and paste that. And we're gonna have 3 paragraphs and another table. So I'll paste that, hold Command and delete both those lines. Go to the beginning of these lines, hold Command and click there. I'll say open up a paragraph, move that over, and save it. Okay, then we'll have another table, TR, TH, TD, whoops, TH, TH, and then another row with TD, TD. Okay, let's see how many rows we have after the heading. We have 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have a link that we need as well, active growth charts. So let me just search for active growth charts. Oh, it doesn't show up in here. Let's search for growth charts. Let's see. Oh, age growth charts. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so we'll just stick a link right here. We'll move this over to the end of this. And we'll save that. Okay. So there's our age growth charts, and then we'll have the table with our data. Okay, so we have percentile and weight status. Okay, then we have below 5th. Whoops, didn't copy. And 5th to 85th. 85th to 89th. And 95th and above. Oh, I put that other one in the wrong spot. Let's move that to there. Okay, we have underweight. Yeah, that's what we want. And normal or healthy weight. Overweight and obese. Okay, let's see what we look like. Okay, there's our next table. That looks awesome. Okay, going forward, we'll go ahead and keep going here, and we're almost done. We just have a couple more lists left, and we have to throw that image in there, and that's pretty much it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and copy our 3 paragraphs here. Body mass index. Whoops, I missed our body mass index header. Whoops. And health. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and paste those. Go to the beginning of the line. Delete the space between them. Make a cursor on each one of these so that I can make a paragraph out of each one. Go to the end of the line. Save it. Okay. And if we look, here's where we've ended up. We just have to add a link around National Institutes of Health. Okay, save that. That should look good now. Sweet. All right, now we have a list, our first list. So I'll copy this. Okay, we're going to do an unordered list. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to put a cursor on each line, and I'll say li, and move that to the end of the lines and save it. Okay, there is our unordered list. Let's go ahead and Google CSS list bullet color. How to change bullet color of a list. List style, none. Let's see, try it yourself. Those are red. Oh, li before, red. Okay. Oh, and the ul says none. Interesting. Well, all of our lists are the same. So let's go ahead and say ul, and we'll say list style is none. And then I'm just going to copy this whole thing. Should have copied both those, but that's okay. Okay, and it's going to be this color. All right, let's save it and see what it looks. There we go. Look at those beautiful pink bullets. It's awesome. Okay, 2 more paragraphs. We're almost done, you guys. So I'll come down into here, paste that, delete that space, make a paragraph right there. Okay, it looks like we had a link, a new study. Go ahead and move that over here. Okay. And let's see how we're looking. Looking pretty good. Okay, we got another unordered list. We're not going to have to change any of the style this time, which will be nice. Paste that. And add an li tag to each one of those. By the way, that hotkey that I just did was add cursors to line ends, if you want to look. Okay, there we go. There's our next one. And our last paragraph. Woohoo! Paste that. Let's go ahead and put this as an H6. nice and small. It'll be our only H6. Let's go ahead and get ready to style it over here, and let's see what we need. Actually, I'm going to right-click on this and hit Inspect. We can just copy their styles. All right, what do we got? There we go. Font size and color. Oops. Okay, let's see what ours looks like. Oh, we forgot to save that. I thought that was ours for a second. Like, wow, that looks really good. Okay, so that looks good. And then we have this +9 sources. Let me inspect that. Let's see what this is. Where did it go? Okay, it's a span. Oh, well, I wonder why that's crossed out. Just gotta copy all that. Okay, we'll make another paragraph right here. We'll give it a class of orange text. And over here we'll say dot orange text. We'll paste that. And then it said +9 sources. Okay, we'll save that, and we'll save that. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Our plus doesn't look as good as theirs, but that's okay. And it does hover like that. Sweet. If we want to make the color pink, it looks like that's the same pink as over here. So we can just copy that and say dot orange text, hover, oops, and paste that, and save it, and now it should hover that pink when I hover over it. Sweet. Okay, last thing, we want this to show up to the right, and we did this just as an image. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm actually going to make this whole thing a table. Okay, actually, we're going to use Flexbox. So CSS Flex 2 elements side by side. Center 2 elements side by side using Flexbox. We don't really want to center them. Let's go back. We're going to display 2 divs side by side. We'll use Flexbox. CSS display flex as a container. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to make a div right here. We'll say class is flex container, and we'll move that up. And right here we'll say flex container display flex, and then we'll also have an image /images. I think it was our third one there. And let's see what other styles they had. Just flex 1. Okay, so right here, I'll say this orange text. Well, let's see, was that flex 1 just on the flex child? So both of those are flex child. Okay, so I'm going to make a flex child also. And it was flex 1. And then I'm just going to add a class here that says flex child, and a class here that says flex child. And let's see if those show up side by side. And they're not. Let's see why. I wonder if it's because that one's a paragraph. Let's try to make this a span instead. See if that changes anything. Oh, it's just gone if we have it as a span. Okay, so that's back. Well, let's try this. Let's just put the closing paragraph tag on the other side of that. It's not technically the image is inside of the paragraph, but we can add another class here onto this one. Say float right. Do we already have a float right class in here? We do not. Float right. Float right. We'll save that. Didn't want to do that. Let's make this a div instead. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. I put that where we wanted it, but it also... I wonder why it did that. Oh, I wonder why I put that down there. And it's still there, even with the paragraph. But the question is, why? Doesn't look like we affected that right content. I'm gonna just comment this out for a sec. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, it's back up there. Let's go ahead and just use a table instead. So I'll say table, whoops. I have a table row. This first one, I have that +9 sources. Actually, let's put the full paragraph in here. That second one will have the image. Excuse me. Okay, that looks like it's okay. Okay, sounds good. I'll say give us a class of bottom table. Bottom table. And we want to make the second row, so we'll say bottom table is width 100%. And then bottom table, we want the tr, nth child, the second child, so the second td in there. We want that to be, we'll say float right. Okay, let me right click on this, hit inspect. Oh man.
Can I just take a tablet?
T-body isn't 100%. So let's say, and let's make body in here. T-body, that's what I meant to do. Okay, and so we'll say bottom table is 100%, and bottom table T-body is also 100%. See if that fixes it. Still didn't. Let's inspect that and see why. T-body is 100% now. So is the row. So I think we just need to make the image itself float right, because that TD is taking up all that space, and that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this and put a comma, image, float right. Let's inspect this one more time. And I'm just gonna add a style attribute in here. I'll say float right. Okay, so that fixed it. So let's just add an individual class on this image. I'll say class float right. And we can take this off. Gotta save the HTML. And there we go. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I think the only thing that we have to do now is just fix our fonts. Okay, none of this looks as good. It's amazing how much better theirs looks from ours. So let's see why our fonts don't look good. So font family, I wonder if we can get this with Google Fonts. Google Font, Proxima Nova Soft. Oh, let's do this one, Proxima Nova. External Foundries, so it isn't with Google. Oh, $224. Okay, we're not going to do that. See if this one's available for free. That's not looking good. Okay, so we're going to ignore the fonts for now. Yeah, I think everything else we're just going to leave. It looks pretty decent. If we look back at theirs, it looks like their line height is a little bit different. We could change that. So up in the HTML, line height, let's say like 1.4. See if that makes ours look any better. Huh. Didn't look like that changed anything. Line height is 1.4. It says it's 1.4. Huh. Maybe it did do something. Okay, maybe there's like, I think we copied that. Okay, that looks a little bit better now that we have some space in there. Looks a little bit more like theirs. Almost looks like ours is darker than theirs is too. It might just be because of the font. No, look at that. It isn't black. It's a different color. So, oh, we have that color though. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it a day. I think that looks pretty good. It's definitely not perfect, but we're definitely off to a really good start. So I know this is a long video. I hope that it was helpful for you. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.